Where did Derek Bieri go? For years, he was the greasy knuckled heart of Vice Grip Garage, reviving rusted-out relics, cracking dry jokes, and driving beaters straight out of barns with nothing but duct tape, instinct, and sheer willpower. But then, silence. No new updates. No fresh builds. Just a slow fade that had fans asking, did Derek walk away from it all? And if so, why? Well, he just resurfaced, but not how anyone expected. And what he brought with him? That has fans more curious than ever. Before the mystery began, Derek Bieri was everywhere. Not in a flashy influencer kind of way, but in a garage under the stars, oil on your jeans, I'll just zip tie it kind of way. Vice Grip Garage started as a modest YouTube channel where Derek tackled classic car rescues in real time, often pulling decades-old machines out of barns, fields, or wherever nature had nearly won. And he wasn't just wrenching, he was storytelling. His dry humor, Midwestern grit, and let's see if it runs attitude made the channel a rare gem in a sea of overproduced content. There was no fake drama, no staged breakdowns, just real, dirty, unpredictable revivals of forgotten cars. Fans felt like they were riding shotgun, rooting for machines that shouldn't start, but did. And it wasn't just about cars, it was about persistence, resourcefulness, doing things the hard way not because you had to, but because it was more satisfying. That's what made Derek different. He wasn't chasing clicks, he was chasing that first rumble of a revived engine. But then something changed. By late 23 and into early 24, something felt off. For a guy who used to upload regularly and connect with his fans like an old buddy across the workbench, Derek Bieri started going quiet. Fewer uploads, long gaps between videos. And when something did drop, it felt different. Less energy, shorter runtime, sometimes just brief updates without his usual storytelling magic. Fans noticed. Comment sections began to fill with the same question. Is Derek okay? Some speculated burnout. Others thought maybe it was personal. Health issues, family commitments, or maybe just the natural wear of years spent crawling under cars and pushing through grueling road rescues. A few feared the worst, and the silence wasn't just on YouTube. His Instagram and Facebook feeds slowed too. Appearances at events? Almost none. The man who once filmed entire episodes from abandoned parking lots with a bag of tools and a stubborn Buick was gone. But that wasn't the whole story, because while the uploads stopped, Derek wasn't entirely off the radar, just operating behind it. Derek never made an official statement about stepping back. No, I'm taking a break video, no dramatic farewell, just silence, which only fueled the curiosity. Some longtime fans chalked it up to burnout. After all, running a one-man garage, traveling cross-country for junkyard rescues, filming everything, and editing it into tight, engaging episodes? That's a brutal grind. Add in the expectations of millions of viewers and sponsors breathing down your neck, and it's easy to imagine him hitting the brakes. Hard. Others speculated it was a personal decision. Derek has always kept his private life close to the chest, but sharp-eyed fans knew he was a husband and a father. Maybe he simply chose to step back and reclaim some peace, away from algorithms and upload schedules. Then there were the more out-there theories. Some wondered if there had been internal issues, disputes with sponsors, creative conflicts, or even legal snags. A few fringe voices even claimed Vice Grip Garage had been sold off or taken over, but with no evidence, those rumors fizzled out fast. Still, the pattern was hard to ignore. A steady decline in content, followed by near total silence. Not a meltdown, not a scandal, just a fade-out. But while fans debated theories online, Derek was quietly setting the stage for something no one saw coming. Just when it seemed like Derek had vanished for good, he pulled back into the spotlight. And not with a video, not with a live stream, but with 5 forgotten classics, straight from the dirt and dust, rolling into one of the biggest auction stages in America. In May 2025, Derek showed up at Mika Mindy, casually bringing 5 field-fresh vehicles to auction. No fanfare, no dramatic announcement, just the same rusted charm and raw metal he built his brand on. But this wasn't just any car drop. These weren't polished showpieces. These were real vice grip machines. Worn interiors, faded paint, and engines that had probably screamed back to life after years of silence. To any outsider, they looked like junkyard rejects. But to Derek's fans, they were icons. Each car told a story. And just like that, Derek was back in public, smiling, shaking hands, and talking shop with bidders and old-school gearheads. No flashy influencer persona, just a guy in his cars. It wasn't staged for content. It felt intentional, but it raised even more questions. Why auction these cars now? Was he closing a chapter, funding something new? Or was this just his way of saying, I never left? You just stopped looking in the right places. Whatever the motive, one thing was clear. Derek hadn't disappeared. He had just changed lanes. Derek's return at Mindy wasn't just a casual drop-in. For fans paying attention, it felt symbolic, like he was sending a message without saying a word. The cars he brought weren't just vehicles. They were artifacts of the Vice Grip Garage legacy. Each one had likely been featured, rescued, or at least touched by the same wrench-turning hands that built the channel from nothing. By putting them on the auction block, Derek wasn't just clearing out space in the garage, he was closing a chapter. But not necessarily the whole book. Some fans saw this as a pivot. Maybe Derek was stepping away from YouTube's grind and leaning into something more sustainable. Restoration and resale, auctions, consulting. After all, building content around old cars is one thing, but building a long-term business with them? That's a different kind of horsepower. Others read it differently. Maybe Derek wasn't pivoting, maybe he was recalibrating, testing the waters, reestablishing his presence, and seeing how people reacted. And the buzz from his appearance at Mecum proved something loud and clear. The name Vice Grip Garage still draws a crowd. What Derek didn't do was almost more telling. He didn't rush back to YouTube. He didn't launch a bunch of new merch. He didn't go on podcasts hyping a comeback. He played it cool. Classic Derek. But even with his low-key style, it was obvious. Something's brewing. Now that Derek's reappeared, quietly but unmistakably, fans are left wondering, what's next? The Vice Grip Garage name still holds serious weight. His videos continue to rack up millions of views, even old uploads. The community is still there, loyal, patient, and ready for whatever comes next. But Derek? He's not tipping his hand. Some insiders believe he's working behind the scenes on something bigger than YouTube. Think, a full-blown restoration business, nationwide barn find tours, or maybe even a TV deal. He's always had that old-school charisma, equal parts mechanic, storyteller, and showman. And now, with mainstream automotive brands eyeing creators like him, a move to something bigger wouldn't be surprising. Others think he might return on his own terms. No upload schedules, no pressure, just the occasional unscripted resurrection, where a forgotten Chevy or sunken Ford comes back to life for one more run. And maybe that's the point. No more grinding for content, just doing what he loves when he feels like it. Of course, there's always the wild card theory that he's done with it all. That Vice Grip Garage was a season, not a lifetime. That he's content living quietly, wrenching for fun, far from the pressure of views and virality. But if his surprise move at Mecum Indy taught us anything, it's this. Derek Bieri doesn't do anything by accident. Whatever happens next, it's going to catch people off guard. Derek Bieri didn't run fade because he failed. He didn't vanish because of scandal, burnout, or drama. He simply stepped away and left behind a silence that spoke louder than any upload ever could. But now that silence has been broken. By rolling into Mecum Indy with 5 weathered classics, Derek didn't just reappear, he reminded everyone that Vice Grip Garage was never about views, algorithms, or chasing fame. It was always about the machines, the challenge, the grit, and maybe, just maybe, the freedom to walk away when you've earned it. The real question now isn't where did Derek go? It's what is he planning next? Because one thing is certain, when Derek Bieri moves, he moves with purpose. No hype, no hashtags, just raw steel, dirty boots, and a mission that doesn't need to be explained. And for fans who've stuck around, still watching those old rescues, still quoting his one-liners, still hoping for that next cold start miracle, his comeback, however subtle, means one thing. The story of Vice Grip Garage might not be over. It might be just getting interesting again.